lost my balance. And you know, that's when the colors started to change.
Hey, what is going on, guys? I am Chris Luck, and today we're going to be talking about this Sigma 20mm 1.4 lens and why I got it for astrophotography. So I actually got the lens the other day, was not expecting to make a video on it so soon. We had clouds and rain in the forecast for the next week or so, but last night went out, cloudy night, bonfire with some friends and other photographers, and the skies just cleared up out of nowhere. Had the camera with the lens with me, so took some time lapses, did some pictures, and got enough to get a decent review on whether it's a good lens or not. Okay, so the reason I bought this lens was strictly for live aurora video, and I live in Kodiak, Alaska, if you guys didn't know, and I travel up north sometimes too for aurora and whatnot, and I like to take videos and vlogs, and the 2.8 lenses that I have now just aren't enough to get live video. I can if the storm is really good, but I'm still shooting 50,000 plus ISO, so I'm hoping this thing can keep me anywhere from 12 to 25,000, if not less, depending on how strong the aurora is. So that's the main reason I got it. Another thing with this lens when you're shooting aurora is you can really shoot with a fast shutter speed. So if the aurora is dancing or there's some really cool beams and lights in the aurora itself, when you shoot at a faster shutter speed, you can kind of capture those moments where when you shoot over 4 seconds, it kind of blurs them out and it doesn't show as much detail in the northern lights. So that's another great reason to have a 1.4 lens.
Isaac, you ready?
No, it's so cool. I don't want to leave.
Okay, that's good, Haji. It's not going to go anywhere.
Dad, just put one more if you want.
So if you buy this lens brand new, it is $900, but I got a good deal on it, used, excellent condition. So if you can find it used and in good condition, and on eBay or another website, definitely recommend doing that, especially if you can get a refund if it's not working right. But anyway, everything worked good last night. Had no issues with it. There was a little mist in the air, so I thought I couldn't get infinite focus, but that was just the mist like creating this glow around the stars. So that's what it was. Overall, it was a pretty sharp lens. I did take some portraits with it, and they came out okay. I did like them a lot. For one night, had no issues. So what I do like about this lens is it's cheap, it's fast enough for what I need, it's 1.4, it's wide, it's great for astro, not something I'd vlog with, but it's sharp enough for what I need it for. And then going into what I don't like is there's no lens stabilization, there's only a autofocus and manual focus switch on this. I actually didn't even realize that when I got it. I thought for sure it would have a lens stabilization on it, but it didn't. I forgot lenses some can cheap out like that, and it's one thing what you got to pay attention to when you get a cheap lens, and make sure it has autofocus, lens stabilization, or whatever other features you'd like. So that's just something to look out for when you buy cheaper stuff. There's also heavy vignetting at 1.4. It's definitely a lot better with 1.8 aperture. For video, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I think I'd be okay with that. And then the final thing, which is the most important for astrophotography, is this lens does have a lot of chroma. If you don't know what chroma is, it's basically in the corner of your images from the lens, instead of the stars being one little dot, they're kind of spaced out like a line. They almost look like a star trail. And that's just the distortion of the lens. So that's one thing that you do want to look out for. Here's an example of what chroma looks like. You could see how in the corners it's very distorted. So what I'm actually doing now is I'm going to switch to this lens so you can see what it looks like at 1.4 in some light. You can see if there's any vignetting. You can see what it looks like for live video. So let me swap that out for you right now. All right, I just switched you to the Sigma 20mm 1.4 lens. And one great thing about this already was I was shooting at 800 ISO with this Tamron. This is my main Astro lens that I've been using for a few years now. Tamron 15-30 F2.8 G2. It does have autofocus and vibration compensation built into the lens, so that's one advantage with this lens. But just by switching from this to that, I was able to drop it down to f1.4, and the ISO went from 800 to I'm at 250 right now, and I think that works out really well. So I'm pretty happy with that. That's the whole idea of getting this lens in the first place. So like I said, I chose this lens because it's fast, it's sharp enough, and it's wide enough for astrophotography video, northern lights video, and that's why I did choose this lens. But I'm gonna say this, I do not think this is the lens to choose if you're just starting out in astro. I'd actually recommend something like this. This is the Tamron 15-30 f2.8. Like I said, it is $12.99, brand new. Overall, I think it's a lot more versatile. You have 15-30 to choose from. It's not a prime lens. I don't really care for prime lenses when I'm using landscape photography or anything. I like to be able to do something a little bit from one location if I have to. There's only one prime lens that I'd actually recommend if you're starting out in astro, and that's the Sigma 14mm 1.8. It's a very good lens. There is a big difference between 1.8 and 1.4, so that's why I did choose the 1.4 lens. 1.8 is just a little bit darker, and I want to maximize the reduction of noise when I'm using lower ISO for shooting live video. So that's why I actually chose the 20mm 1.4 over the 14-1.8. Okay, I just looked it up. The 14-1.8 is actually $1,600, where this brand new is $900. So just remember, you do get what you pay for the most part in the photography world, and cheaping out on a lens that you want to use for astro is not something I'd recommend, especially if you want to really have your pictures printed and looking good. I can work around it, but that's just the price you pay for having high quality, more expensive versus low quality, less expensive. But I have a specific reason why I chose that lens. And then there's one other lens. It's the same price as the Tamron 15-30. It's the Sigma 14-24mm f2.8. Another really good astrophotography lens. Has better lens distortion and vignetting and chroma than the Sigma that I'm recording with right now. If this is going to be your first lens, I definitely, like I said, recommend using a zoom lens just because it is more versatile for depending on where you're at, what everything looks like, what you want to shoot. I'm just going to wrap this video up now. That's pretty much the review here. I'm going to end the video with some photos at the end of what I took last night, and the time lapse that I started with the video was with the 20mm as well. Like I said, I have one specific reason for this lens: northern light video, and that's it. And speaking of northern lights, I have a full announcement coming on next video, but I am going to be hosting a 3-night workshop with my friend Shane Parker in Fairbanks, March 15th to March 17th. 3 nights chasing the aurora. Next video will have all the details, and that's one reason I got this lens, was I want to have a good recording of our time in Fairbanks. Subscribe if you want more details about this workshop in the next video. That's all I got for you today. See ya.